What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And in this video, we're going to be talking about a film that was easily one of my most anticipated of 2025, and that film is called Companion. Written and directed by Hancock, this film stars people like Sophie Thatcher, Jack Quaid, Rupert Friend, Megan Surrey, and many more. And as I typically like to say at the beginning of these videos now, if you're a fan of up-to-date reviews for movies like this, retrospective reviews, early reviews, live streams, and the occasional vlog, then you are in the right place. And I'd like to ask you to consider subscribing. But if you're a returning viewer, well, thanks so much for taking the time out of your day to come back once again and hear me talk about another movie. And today we're going to be talking about Companion, which when I saw the first trailer for this film, I thought to myself, wow, they really showed a lot. They showed a majority of the film, but it looked really cool. It seemed like an interesting premise. It obviously is being tagged as coming from the creators of Barbarian, which tricked me into thinking that this film was coming from the director of Barbarian, but that is not the case here. But yeah, going into this film, I was really excited to check out what this movie was going to be all about, even though the trailers did give away a lot. And so for the sake of this review, I am going to touch on what this movie's about based on what the marketing has shown, but I'm going to do my best to kind of keep that a little bit vague. Companion opens up and shows us a group of friends that are getting together at a cabin near a lake to enjoy a nice weekend together. But what's most notable about this film is the character of Iris at the center of it, played by Sophie Thatcher, is a robot, most notably a companion robot to Jack Quaid's character, Josh. He keeps her around as kind of his girlfriend in a way, but she is controlled by him in a lot of ways. And once one of the individuals in this friend group ends up dying, a lot of problems start to ensue and a lot of fingers start to get pointed specifically at Sophie Thatcher's character of Iris. And that's all I'll say. I'm giving a very vague explanation of the movie because I don't want to say too much about it, because I think the trailers showed way too much. And I think there's going to be people who click on this review who just want to know what I think about it without giving away too much. I think even telling the audience in the trailer that Sophie Thatcher's character is a robot, I think almost did the film a disservice, though it did give us the pretty cool poster for this film. What I could say about this film starting out is I think this is an expertly crafted film. I love the look of this film. I love the performances of this film. The cinematography is beautiful. The outfits, the overall aesthetic of how this film is put together, so many of the way that the scenes are staged, I think is so well done. And most notably, Sophie Thatcher at the center, as well as Jack Quaid, give top tier performances. And I thought the rest of the cast gave a great performance here as well. You have Rupert Friend in here giving this Russian accent as his character of Sergei. And I've always loved Rupert Friend, and I haven't seen him in anything since he was in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series as the Grand Inquisitor. So it was nice to see him here with a completely different accent. And I think for the most part, the rest of the cast does a really great job here, including actors like Lukas, Gage, who plays the character of Patrick, who was most recently in my memory in Smile 2. So I thought the cast here was really solid, and I thought the premise was really cool. Now, this film in a lot of ways felt to me very reminiscent of Alex Garland's Ex Machina, and both films have very similar themes, and both films center on a robot at the center of it, specifically a female companion-esque robot at the center of it. And the film in a lot of ways specifically leans into the idea of control and manipulation and what somebody would want out of their partner. As a married man, I've never really fully understand this from a male perspective, but it is something that exists. It's something that I've seen, it's something that I've heard, and it's something I've had discussions with people before, and I always can't really wrap my mind around it. But the sad reality is that we live in a world today, whether it's man or woman, where people are wanting their partners to be a specific thing for them. And this film creates a world where there is a company that creates these incredibly lifelike robots to be people's companions, where on their phone they can control how smart they are, how, aggressive they are, how, sexy they are, how sexual they are, how much they comply with you on one thing or the other, and they have to listen to everything you say. And so on one hand, it's like, oh, cool, like a robot that I could do something with. But when I think about that, I would love to have like a C-3PO, a protocol droid to do stuff for me around the house, but he's a nice guy and I can treat him well. But in the case of this film, they're essentially glorified fuckbots that have this ability for you to control them. And so you really sympathize immediately with the character of Iris, played by Sophie Thatcher. And I think Sophie Thatcher is an incredible actress. I wasn't super familiar with her until this film and last year's Heretic, but between the two films, seeing them in pretty close proximity of one another. I thought she's phenomenal as an actress, and I thought she was great here as well. I think she brings so much to the performance, and she's able to bring this level of nuance to a character that has to be incredibly subdued because her programming puts her in a place where she has to be subdued. But as she's able to kind of break over things and break through certain programming and kind of has to deal with certain things that happen in this film, it was interesting to watch this robot character at the center of it that has to navigate human nuances and human deception, and she's not capable of lying either, so that really added an element to it when she has humans who are lying to her. This film has so much to say about control, it has so much to say about manipulation, it has so much to say about selfishness and lying, and I think it's able to capture all that really well. And again, I feel like this, and with no pun intended, feels very much like a beautiful companion piece to Alex Garland's Ex Machina. I could totally see myself wanting to do a double feature of both movies because there's very similar themes here and very similar ideas, and I really enjoyed the central robot character in both film, with Sophie Thatcher, of course, in this film, and of course the character of Ava, I believe, in Ex Machina. But I really enjoyed both films, and this film for me just made me think about that one. But ultimately, this film in and of itself, I think, is very well acted. It has some great cinematography, great sound design. I thought the story overall was incredibly well done and incredibly tight. It's nice when you watch a movie like this that feels like it has a very tight script. As the movie was coming to a close, it was one of those movies that I thought, okay, maybe it was a little overly long in certain places, but for the most part, I think it really had a vision. I could see the vision, and I think it brought it all together in a nice little package for you with a bow on top and says, here you go. And those are my favorite kinds of movies because I love when a film can create a story, create a concept, set up a premise, like kind of set things up for you and kind of bring everything to a nice resolution by the time you get to the end, with several characters in the mix and certain story beats that are set up earlier in the film that all come to a conclusion. Ultimately, I thought that this was a really tight script that was executed incredibly well and has a really great cast that elevates the material. And I'm really going to be looking forward to more stuff that's directed by Drew Hancock because I think he does a great job here to showcase great character work and great sense of tension and entertainment value at the same time. I was never bored watching this film. I was constantly in awe of how good the movie looked, and I also really enjoyed a lot of the costume design in this film as well, specifically around the character of Iris, played by Sophie Thatcher, because her character kind of has like a wardrobe picked out for her specifically because it's kind of part of her programming. And so to see her in these various outfits throughout the course of the film, it just gave the film a really nice aesthetic. And I just was really into the overall tone, look, feel, pacing of this film and the overall dialogue. There was moments that were funny, there were moments that were tense, and there was just so much about this film that I think really works as a drama and as something that's making a commentary on real life, about real relationships and about manipulation and control in this world. And again, it's just a film that I think is just a beautiful companion piece to Ex Machina, which is another film I really love. So that's gonna be my thoughts on Companion. I was kind of skating around a couple things here because I didn't really want to give away too much about the movie. I was just trying to touch on the things that are already available to audiences in the trailer. But ultimately, I think this is a really solid film. If you're looking for something different and unique that has a lot to say, but is also, you know, just like a fun kind of horror movie or horror adjacent movie that you can catch in theaters, I think this is definitely something that's worth your time. And it's a film that I can totally see myself thinking of when I get to my top 10 or top 20 best by the time we get to the end of the year. So that's going to be my thoughts on Companion. Looking forward to hearing what you guys have to say. So leave some comments down below. Did you like this movie? Did you not like this movie? Whatever the case may be, I look forward to hearing all of your guys' opinions down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.